ed at the end of a root word is a very tricky hunk and chunk. We spend one whole week working with this. The very first day, we look at ed phonetically correct. Everything that we write will have that ed sound. I planted it, I wanted it. And on that first day when we learned ed as saying ed, when you see ed at the end of a root word, say ed, ed, ed. On day 2, we're going to look at root words that end with ed, but instead of them saying ed, they'll be a true hunk and chunk. They're going to make that d sound. I smelled it. Here we would say, when you see ed at the end of a root word, say d, d. Day 3, we know that it can say ed at the end of a root word. We know that ed could make that d sound. On the 3rd day, we look at it as saying t, like in the word kissed. This day, we'll only write words where the root word has its ed making the t sound. So we'll say, when you see ed at the end of a root word, say t. Finally, on days 4 and 5, we'll sort those root words with ed at the end, deciding as to whether they make the ed, d, or t sound. And for the rest of the year, we'll say this. When you see ed at the end of a root word, say ed, 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 d, d, or t.